Hey guys, this is Lovely with Lovely Esteem, and we're back to talk about cognitive dissonance and infidelity. I did a video previously with steps 1 through 4 on ways that we want to learn how to build self-trust in ourselves after going through infidelity, and how cognitive dissonance can really play a part in how it affects your thinking and your healing. Welcome to Lovely Esteem. I'm Lovely, the auntie you always wanted, the sister girlfriend you didn't know you needed, honey. You got to have self-love to have self-esteem. And here we know that God don't make no junk. So we're going to sit down, talk about it, and see how we can fix it, baby. Let's do it. So we want to remember cognitive dissonance happens when you have two conflicting beliefs or perceptions about one thing that causes you mental or emotional distress, right? So if you believe that your partner is this straight-laced, faithful, loyal person who would never hurt you, and you are confronted with a person who has not only been unfaithful, but may have created a family, living a double life, maybe living a life outside of your life that looks very different than what you're having. It can cause such turmoil on, like, in your mind, because you want to believe the version of the person that you have in your head, not the person that's in front of you. And when you have to really figure out how to justify, and or because justifying really is just pacifying the person, but when you are trying to figure out how to justify what you know and what you're seeing, it can really cause you to disassociate and to like separate from reality. And cognitive dissonance is just something that we want to pay attention to, because it can cause you to lose trust in yourself, and that's not what we're here for. We're here to rebuild ourselves and figure out how to trust who we are, trust our voices, learn how to have less negative self-talk, because sometimes you're going to have it, and we need to really be honest about that. So we're going to talk about steps 5 through 8. So steps 5: accepting uncertainty and releasing the need for answers. What did I say? We are learning how to accept uncertainty and releasing the need for answers. Cognitive dissonance and the need for answers or closure is a major source of just contention after betrayal, right? Because you want to understand what happened. You want all the details. You want to know everything that they did together, every step they took, all the reasons why this isn't going to work out, all the reasons why it didn't work out, all the reasons why it shoulda, woulda, coulda, couldn't, did. When the truth is that no matter what they say to you, no matter what answers they give you, closure not going to happen until you're healing. It's not, right? They're not going to be able to tell you something today that's going to cause you to be like, you know what? Totally understand that. Like, it's a pass. It's a pass. No, it's not. All right. It's just going to make you angrier. It's going to give you more fuel to light that fire at 3 in the morning when you're trying to figure out what the fuck did they say, when you play that shit back in your head. Because playback, after somebody then lied to you for a long time, all that shit is sound like it's lies. That's all. I'm just letting you know. Like, I'm being real upfront with you. I don't even want to lie to you, right? So when we need to find answers, when we are searching for things, when we're going through emails, going through text messages, when we're calling people, when we're driving to spaces, when we're interrogating people, yes, it can feed a part of you that you like, okay, maybe I could understand it if I was under the influence of delusional, but the fuck are you talking about? So I'm just saying, remember earlier in the last video, I said, When you are asking questions, when you are asking the whys with the hopes that it's going to somehow settle your soul, it's not going to let you heal, because every time somebody asks a question and then answer the question, you're going to be dissecting both parts. Because when you don't trust your mind, you don't trust yourself, and you don't trust the other person, you're going to want to keep researching and try to figure out if what you heard and what they said was correct, and then what they said and the truth is correct. And we're not going to always get the truth. It's not going to always happen. So when you release the need for complete understanding, when you say, hey, I don't know why the fuck you did that. All right. And it's not up to me to figure out why you did that. It's up to you to figure out why you did that. Like, that has nothing to do with me. I don't need to have all the answers to start healing. I just need to have answers to keep me safe. Right. So, am I safe? Is a person coming to my house? Am I going to receive a new call? Are you going to come up with a new situation that happens? Right. Those are the things that we are learning to do. We need to ask so that we can start healing, because you want to heal. Sometimes peace comes from accepting that the things outside of your control or understanding, it just is what it is, right? Like, I wouldn't do that to you. So I cannot even begin to comprehend or understand why that would happen. This was out of my control. This does not reflect who I am as a person. And if anybody tries to throw that guilt onto you, remember, we're not accepting other people's guilt, right? Guilt, feeling guilt is an internal thing, right? I should have been kinder. I could have been nicer. I could have taken care of myself better. No, we're not accepting other people's guilt, because other people's guilt is really shame. Like, if you would have done this thing, if you could have been this person, if you would have dressed this way, if you would have treated me this way, I wouldn't have done that. And I feel like you would have. I feel like this is who you are, babes. Don't bring this stuff over to me. So we want to focus on the things that we can control. We want to focus on our healing. We want to focus on our boundaries. We want to focus on our emotional wellness. We want to focus on our finances, because when you're going through things like this, you want to make sure that your finances are okay. Because when you're trying to work on your healing, your boundaries, and your emotional well-being, it's called a therapist. And sometimes we can't afford that because our finances are a little crazy. And I will say that there are spaces, free spaces online that you can go to, and really find great information. I'll put it inside of the description, like a couple different resources that you can check into. But like, there are spaces in the world where they're not looking for money from you. They're looking for your healing. Your healing is really the reward. It's the price point, right? And they're trying to make sure that we have more healed people in this world than we have broken people in this world. But you got to find those resources. So, reflection question, right? Am I clinging to the need for answers? And is it disrupting my peace? Am I clinging to the need for answers? And is it disrupting my peace? Is your need for answers so strong, so obsessive, so fervent that you can't sleep, you can't eat, you can't drink, you can't be with friends, you can't focus on your healing, right? And at the beginning, yes, okay, let's be honest, I don't want to talk to you in a way where you're like, you need to heal from day one. You have to go through your stages of grief, right? You have to go through your stages of grief. And in grief is anger, denial, bargaining, acceptance, depression, all those, not in order. That was not in order. But you have to go through your different stages. And at the beginning, you will be bargaining, depressed, angry, acceptance. Nah, nah. You go do denial. Yeah, you're gonna go do denial. Acceptance? No, no, no. You're gonna accept a fry. You're gonna accept a stalk of broccoli. You're gonna accept some chicken. You're gonna accept a hammer. No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. We're not accept. And the second question is, how can I focus on what's within my control instead of trying to understand everything? So, things that you can control, right? There's a rule. What can you control in the next 2 to 5 minutes, right? Things that you can control in the next 2 to 5 minutes. Can I control eating a banana? Can I control jump roping? Can I control taking a shower? Can I control eating my dinner? Can I control saying a prayer? Can I control meditation? Can I control driving a car? Things that you can, the next 2 to 5 minutes, right? Then things that you can control. Can I control another person? Can I make another person want me? Can I get hired at a new job? Can I control the price of milk? Can I control the price of rent? Can I control how people view me? Things you can't control. 2 to 5 minutes. If you can't fix it in 2 to 5 minutes, it's out of your control, right? Until you build up the tools or until you find it and get an answer, until you receive a call back, those are very different things. And if somebody has to call you back, it's not in your control at the moment. So I want us to really remember that and to focus so much on us healing and not always on getting the answers, because the answers don't always make you feel better. Sometimes the answers just help you spiral further and further out of control. And when you are working on healing yourself, a lot of those answers will disrupt your peace because you'll want to do investigation work. We're not Inspector Gadget, baby. We ain't Carmen Sandiego. We don't want to do that. All right. That's not what we are in our lives. Trust me, I did it. I'm not proud of who I was back then, but I could tell you I learned a lot about a lot of people, um and it is what it is. I can't fix it. I'm just moving on to the loops, what I'm telling you. So step 6, setting healthy boundaries. Where is your therapist? Remember I said that when we are doing this course, when we start really working on this course, when we start really embracing this course, where is your therapist? All right. Where is your counselor? Are you talking to a psychiatrist? Are we balanced on our medication? Are we balanced with having clinical professionals be a part of your coaching professionals and having peers who can help you break down some of the things that you're learning? Clinical, coaching, peer. Support, level 1. Support, level 2. Support, level 3. It's what we're doing. It's what we're doing. So protecting your peace as you work through cognitive dissonance is essential to create emotional and physical boundaries to protect your peace. Babes, get ready because you're about to offend a couple of motherfuckers. Yes, you are. Whether it's limiting contact with a person who betrayed you or it's establishing a time for reflection for boundaries. But that's like the key to discovering yourself, right? Learning, accepting, comprehending, implementing boundaries. You're like, what? I don't understand. Learning, comprehending. I don't know what I just said. Shit. It was good. Learning, accepting, comprehending, and something else. It was good and then it was gone. And this is why you got to eat breakfast, people, because I'll work on that. Damn it. That was so good. And I don't want to go back. Learning, comprehending, implementing, and accepting. Right? That's what we said. I don't know. I'm scared. I was scared because, like, what if I didn't say it right? Anyway, so steps, right? So we want to be able to learn about boundaries, comprehend those boundaries, accept those boundaries, implement those boundaries, right? And that can be very difficult because for some people, we've never set boundaries. We just made the assumption that if you told somebody to stop, that was like it. If I said yes, that was it. But you even have to have emotional boundaries, physical boundaries, financial boundaries, intellectual boundaries, spiritual boundaries, right? And those are things that we don't always think about. But when it comes to infidelity, you now have to have intimate boundaries, right? And those can feel crazy because if you thought you knew someone and then something crazy happens, and then you have to figure out how to re-establish who you are. Yeah, when you're learning, then you have to learn how to re-establish the life that you thought you had. No. Then you have to learn how to re-establish the boundaries that you either had in place, or you have to learn how to implement boundaries and put those in place. And that can be very difficult, especially in an intimate setting, especially when you've never had any boundaries. And now you're like, no, I feel unsafe. I feel exposed. I feel disconnected. I feel violated. I am angry. I am upset. I I I have some self-loathing that I'm working on. Um, and I can't concentrate on who you are or what you're doing right now because I need to make sure that I'm okay. And a lot of that has to do with setting boundaries and really creating these different levels of protection and safe spaces for yourself, right? So when you're setting boundaries that prioritize your well-being, it could be limiting the conversations with the person who betrayed you. It could be creating safe spaces for self-care or seeking distance from environments that trigger you emotionally. I remember cutting out every genre of music that talked about love other than gospel music, right? So you pretty much was cutting out all the music when I went through infidelity, right? I cut out every if I thought you were going to sing about love, I could not listen to Erykah Badu's Mama's Gun, and that is in my top 5 of best albums ever made. I said my eyes are green because I eats a lot of vegetables and it ain't got nothing to do with your new friend. It had everything to do with your new friend, bitch. I fucking hate y'all both. Everything. And that's who I was. And I just couldn't wrap my head around how could I love again when this kind of shit is happening. So really honestly, learning how to set boundaries around those trigger spaces will help with your healing. Just trust me. You may not be able to eat that burger from that place. You may not be able to have that shrimp fried rice no more. All right. That Thai place might not be working for you. No more fufu. And that's not what we can't have that because the sadness, it just be kicking in, and that's not what we wanted. So reflection questions, right? What boundaries do I need to set to protect my peace? I'd be like, drop that list. What boundaries do I need to set to protect my peace? I'm waiting. I'm waiting because you got to build that up, babes. Because I had a couple folders. I had protected myself so much, I didn't know who the fuck I was. I was like, I can't allow you into this club. And I was talking to me. I was like, hey, I was here yesterday. It's like, yeah, we changed the rules since yesterday. You can't come in here because you was positive and I'm still angry. So I'm gonna need you to stay outside. Please let me back into the club. Anyway, and the second question is, how can I communicate these boundaries in a way that feels empowering, right? When you're creating boundaries, especially in settings where you've never created boundaries, a lot of your boundary setting is going to be quiet boundary setting. Your quiet moves will be heard so loud. And it doesn't feel like that because you think that you need to be out there like, hey, anybody come into my house better call me. Okay, cool. However, if people show up at your house and you don't answer the door and you don't let them in, point set. That's all I'm saying. Just point set match. You got it. All right. If you say, hey, do not give my phone number to these people. If you do, I'm gonna have to block you and them. And when they give that phone number out and you block everybody, and then they see you weeks later at the store and be like, yo, I've been trying to call you, block me. I told you I was gonna block you if you gave them my number. You did it. I told you I didn't want to do it. But there's no buts. Everything after but is bullshit at this time, and we're just gonna have to go with that. All right. So I'm just saying, how can I communicate these boundaries in a way that makes me feel empowered? Quiet boundary setting, beautiful. If you need to say it out loud, beautiful. But really, how you curate your new life, how you set up your algorithm, the way you live your life will be the best boundary setter because trust me, if you don't set boundaries for yourself, and if you don't follow those boundaries, if you don't implement those boundaries, if you don't comprehend those boundaries, other people will start violating them so fast. And that's not what you want. It's almost done. We're almost done. This sparkling water it's like one of my favorites. Okay. Step 7, cultivate emotional resilience. What the hell did you say, Lee? Like, cultivate emotional resilience. What? Strengthening your inner self recovery. No, 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 no. Okay. Strengthening your inner. Okay. We good? Okay. Because that was gross. So, step 7, cultivating emotional resilience. Recovering from cognitive dissonance requires emotional resilience, the ability to navigate through emotional turmoil while maintaining inner strength. And when you go through infidelity, you can feel so powerless because it's not just about the violation of the relationship, it's the violation of you physically, it's the violation of you spiritually, it's the violation of you emotionally, it's the violation of your integrity, it's the violation of your intellect, right? And it can also be the violation of your finances because if somebody out here using money to finance their fuck boy ways or fuck girl ways, you like, hey, where my money at? Because y'all gonna have to reimburse me for every time y'all went out on a date. Somebody gonna have to give me a third of whatever the fuck y'all spent because that's why you go to therapy. That's why I had to learn how to work on my anger because I was building it. I was building up the anger and I was supposed to be like stabilizing the anger and I wasn't stabilizing none of it. I wasn't stable at that point in my life is all what I'm trying to say. So building resilience can help you face more difficult emotions. It can it can give you the strength to deal with the overwhelming feelings that you'll be having. And that shit ain't easy, okay? Because that emotional resilience that you need comes at a cost. Because sometimes you're gonna have to shut people out. As a matter of fact, more times than not, you're gonna have to shut a lot of people out and shut a lot of people up in order to heal yourself. And that can feel monumental, especially if you are still in a place where you need validation from other people, if you are in a place where you're working on building strength for yourself. So you're using other people's strength as energy for you when you are still trying to be a people pleaser, emotional resilience. It's going to feel like somebody is trying to knock you the fuck down. So when you are practicing mindfulness or meditation, that helps you stay present. That's a part of emotional resilience, right? Because you're learning how to sit in your emotions without letting them control who you are. Listen, this step right here, where is your therapist and your counselor? Where's the psychiatrist? All right. Because your coach is going to be coaching you through this mindfulness and this meditation. But you're going to have to go to therapy to work on how you deal with your emotions, how you break down your emotions, where those emotions come from. Are there deep-seated emotional traumas and triggers that you haven't dealt with? Clinicians, professionals, coaches helping you practice, learn new terminology, figure out ways, exercises, peers practicing with, talking to, having conversations with, right? Because when you're learning how to be present with your emotions and you've never done that, it can unleash so many emotions, so many emotions. And when you're trying to focus on like the moment, when you're trying to recognize all of your feelings, when you are trying to be as emotionally present as possible, to allow your mind, your body, your spirit, your soul to understand that this is going to pass, right? This is just a moment in time that I have to deal with. These are lessons that I have to learn, things that I have to learn how to practice. I am still me. I am still God's child. I am still a part of this spirit. I am still a part of this universe. I am still a part of this earth. I am still a spirit in this human body, right? This physical form. I still possess kindness. I still possess loyalty. I still possess openness. I still possess vulnerability. And once this moment has passed and I've learned my lesson, I can continue to move forward in my day, in my life, in my time. It just you need support for that. You need support for that. And that is what emotional resilience is. This too shall pass. How you deal with it, the time that you're waiting for it to pass is so important. And that's what we're here for. That's what we're practicing. So we want to learn how to build self-care, right? No, that's not what I was trying to say. So we're going to learn how to build self-care rituals that help ground you. We want to learn how to focus on our breathing. We want to learn how to focus on journaling, vlogging, blogging, nature walks, becoming creative, your peer-to-peer conversations, creating safe spaces and walking into safe spaces. Things that bring you joy and peace are so important during this time because you want to make sure that you are creating an environment that is healthy for you to grow, right? And infidelity can really pause your growth for a moment. And what we want to learn how to do is start to create more spaces, more emotional support, more physical support, more spiritual support, more support for intellectual support, more support for our souls so that we know we are still here, we are present, we are wonderfully kind, we are beautifully broken, but we're going to make it. We're going to be okay. So what are the reflection questions for this one? What practices help me feel centered and grounded in the moment of emotional distress, right? So what practices, box breathing, walking, singing, dancing, what things help me feel mindful techniques? What practices help me feel centered and grounded in the moments of emotional stress or distress? And the second one is, how can I strengthen my emotional resilience as I work through this healing process? A lot of it has to do with being present. A lot of it has to do with understanding your triggers. A lot of it has to do with working with your clinicians, working with your coaches, working with your peers, creating safe spaces for yourself where you're allowed to be you, where you can be angry, sad, happy, joyful. You can talk about it, melancholy. You can just be silent, right? Creating those spaces, searching for those spaces, reaching out for those spaces can be such a big help, such a huge help. And step number 8, seeking support. You are not alone. I am here for you. I'm not going to do the whole Michael Jackson song because I don't need copyright infringements. I ain't got time for that. But it's the truth, right? You're not alone. You don't have to heal alone. You don't have to heal through infidelity alone. You haven't gone through cognitive dissonance alone. You haven't gone through betrayal alone. And betrayal can be super challenging, right? And it's important to seek out support, as I said from step 7, right? We want to know we want to learn how to accept help. We want to learn how to accept that we can't do it alone. We can't just do it by ourselves. And when we're looking for safe spaces, we want to think about safe spaces culturally, right? We want to think about it through community. We want to think about it based on race. We want to think about it spiritually. We want to think about it financially, because if you can't financially afford something, when you can try as you may to get into that first appointment, right? But if you can't keep going back and then you can't get the help that you need, it's going to feel like you failed. And that's not where you want to start yourself. So there's so many free programs, right? So you can find support through therapy, find support through coaching, peer to peer, through support groups, surrounding yourself with people who help validate your experiences and who don't make you feel like you're a perpetual victim of the circumstances that happen in life, because we're all going to go through something that is very difficult. It just looks a little bit different and it got different names and different faces, but sometimes it'd be the same name and face is all I'm saying. So, in making sure that you find people who encourage you to heal, who want to see you grow, who see you changing and rooting you on actively as you're changing. That is so huge, right? But I know it can be difficult reaching out for help. It can be difficult laying your soul bare to somebody who you don't know. And that's why we're here, right? We're talking about it. We're taking some of these taboo subjects that make people feel uncomfortable. We're changing the stigma around things that happen every day, right? Right now, a couple 100,000, if not million, people are being cheated on. How fucked up is that sentence, right? But it's happening. And it's not their fault, right? Unless there's some weird circumstances. I told you before in another video, if you cheating and then they cheat and then you cheat and then they cheat and then you cheat and then they cheat, I put my hand upon my hips when you dip, I dip, you dip. Look, this ain't for you. This 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 ain't for you. It's just I can't help you out on that one. That's a different kind of coach, and I don't think that I am that coach. That's not my specialty, right? I don't think so. So we want to make sure that we're reaching out to therapists. We're reaching out to coaches that specialize in betrayal recovery. Hello, I'm here. Joining support groups to be able to talk to other women who have similar experiences. And that's something that I'm really working on creating. I want to create an environment where we have support groups. We can sit down, we can talk about what we're going through and how things affect us, and not feel embarrassed to be a part of groups like that, and not feel like we should be in those groups and judging people, because I promise you, you come into my group and start judging people, you will get blocked. It's the way it works. We want to create connections that help ease the burden of healing and help us process the emotions that we're going through. We want to have clarity as we move forth in our growth, and that does not always happen. And there are going to be days when you feel super clear about where you are, and then there are going to be days where you are on the floor ultra confused about where the hell you are. And that's one of the reasons why we're having these conversations and we're talking about these things, because it's not always easy to go through the things that we go through in life. And having safe spaces, connections, people, support, and be it people you know or you don't know, to tell you that they've made it through or to walk with you as you both make it through. So amazing. So amazing. So amazing. So, what are our reflection questions here? Who in my life can support my healing journey? You also have to say who outside of my life can support my healing journey, right? And how can I make, and the next question should be, how can I make seeking support a part of my self care routine? One of the best things you can do is to join a support group. Join different groups from different aspects of your life. It doesn't have to be one group that supports everything that you do, right? You can be a part of different groups where you can kind of step in, listen, talk, figure it out. You can be a fly on the wall. Other ones you can feel like you can support. Other ones you can be there and be more focused and supportive, and maybe your experiences you can talk about. But a peer-to-peer support group is a wonderful way to start adding support into your self-care routine. It's a beautiful way to do that. Okay, I'm hungry. Yes, I am. I'm hungry. Hmm. So let's remember that recovering from cognitive. So we want to remember that recovering from cognitive dissonance is a gradual progress. No, it's not a progress. So we want to remember that not recording from focus. You're not here. We only got two more paragraphs, girl. Two more. So we want to remember that recovering from cognitive dissonance is a gradual process of regaining. Mm, reg- So let's remember that recovering from cognitive dissonance is a gradual process of regaining self-trust, establishing boundaries, and learning to let go of the need to have every answer and to completely understand what's happening, because it will drive you insane. That requires patience, self compassion, and a commitment to protecting your peace. You have to protect your peace like you was trying to protect that man, like you was trying to protect that woman. All right? Like you protect your bank account from yourself. All right? I'm just letting you know. And as we move through the journey, we want to be reminded that we have strength within us, right? That the betrayal may have shaken our world. It may have changed how we see ourselves, but our ability to rebuild who we are, to emerge as stronger people, to honestly be able to stand up one day and say, you know what? That was fucked up. And I learned some lessons. There's some shit I never want to learn again, but I'm working on it, and I'm gonna heal, and that's gonna be the best revenge that I ever had in my life, right? So embracing your growth journey, using it as an opportunity for self-discovery, for healing, for reclaiming the peace that you have within yourself, or to rediscovering the peace that you want in yourself, learning how to trust yourself again, and knowing that you deserve to trust yourself again. It's it is a place that creates a different walk. It's a place that creates a different talk. It's a place that creates a different attitude. Because when you trust yourself and you love who you are, when you are the kind of person who advocates for yourself at every turn, not, we're not talking about anger, right? Because when you get past anger, where you're at a place of it, this happened, and I'm not going to allow it to happen to me again, not on purpose, but I love me so much that I'm really going to embrace me. I'm going to love me. I'm going to love all of my flaws. I'm going to love all the things that I celebrate about myself. Shit, nobody can tell you what to do. Nope. Not one person can tell you what to do. So I hope that you enjoyed the video, right? Tell me some things that you have had to some I really hope you enjoyed the video. Tell me some of the things that you had to really learn to deal with when you went through cognitive dissonance. I will tell you that one of the biggest things that I had to learn how to deal with was putting people on pedestals that they did not belong on in the first place, because nobody belongs there. Everybody's going to mess up at some point. But I was really trying to make people into who I thought they were versus who they were showing me that they really were. And that was a big thing. So what have you dealt with going through cognitive dissonance, and how have you helped yourself walking into that healing journey? What does it look like for you, right? Let's talk about it. Let's continue the conversation down in the comment section. Give me some ideas so we can do some more videos about it. And remember, we want to learn how to articulate our feelings, wants, needs, and desires so that we can better know. And remember, we are learning how to articulate our feelings, wants, needs, and desires so that we can better advocate for ourselves and the people that we love. Y'all be good to yourself. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you found some healing, connection, and joy. Until next time, bye, loves.